Hi folks, welcome to episode 3 of the Manufacturing at Home series on making the rimfire steel 22 caliber Biathlon Target. You can see links up here to part 1 where we plasma cut the pieces and part 2 over here where we use the Whitney punch to make some holes and do some other general prep work for the parts. Here we are and we are ready to move forward, so let's dig in here with part 3. I've got 5 of these brackets. These are brackets that we plasma cut and then machined on the Tormach, and then we tumbled them. They've got a 5/16 by 18 thread and then a reamed hole for a captive pin. I've got a little bin of captive pins right here, and we are just going to tap all these in. This is an old stripper plate from a die I use. This is just a nice hard surface, so like so. Goes right in, and trust me, not going anywhere. So while I'm doing this, I like to feel the parts and try to pay attention. It's something I've was always taught, and it's sometimes easy to forget, which is quality of work. I always keep a file nearby when I'm doing this work, and if there's a burr, I grab a file, I grab the deburring tool and make sure you don't have any problems or burrs like that. Two more, one more, and there I can see, zoom in here, if you can see there's just a slight burr raised on that thread. Which, funny you should say that, I'm getting more burrs in this last batch because I broke my good spiral flute tap. Don't know how that happened. Somebody crashed it into the mill. I won't name any names, but been using a hand tap, which is a really big no-no for CNC tapping. But I'm going to switch to thread milling these per a fellow named Meocats who had recommended that. So stay tuned. I'll be doing that later, and I'll do a video on it. Meant to mention too, really good fellow named Bullet Cast Duo, a fellow from over in Dresden, Germany, was kind enough to take some of the CAD files for this project and nest them on, I think it was either his software or software he had access to at his university. So I wanted to say a big shout out and a big thank you for taking the time to do that and send me back the results. That's going really above and beyond, and I really appreciate that kind of help. So just take our file, and now I can feel it's cutting on the flatness, and sure enough that burr is gone. I've got a new set of Nicholson files this holiday season, and they are really nice. Unfortunately, they say made in Mexico on them. I don't know whether that's because I bought the lower quality version or whether they all are nowadays, but they were a much bigger step up from the files I had laying around before. Okay, so I've got those pins ready, but the first thing we're actually going to do is we're going to weld on our little leg brackets that we just made at the end of episode 2. So they have a set screw that holds the leg in there, and they go on like so. It is important that they don't move when they're welded, and it's important that they are perpendicular to the ground. So this is where, again, I call it a fixture. Maybe that's a stretch given how simple it is, but hey, you know what? It works for me. So I slide this over. You can actually just eyeball these in between the two and slide that over. And you want it just, I usually put it just a hair above the flush line, like so. And then the reason that we've got the flat here, the flat on the top helps make it easier to drill and tap. You could do it with you spotting it, but it also means if I want to clamp this down, it won't rotate on me, which ensures that my set screw is perpendicular to the face of this. Not mission critical, but I think it's a nice touch. Anyways, we're going to head over to the welder here in a second, so I wanted to show that setup here because I'm not going to talk as much when I'm over welding. So after we get these two on, which I find they're not hard to weld, but they're harder to weld well, for me at least, and maybe someone will offer some advice. I am comfortable with my welding, but I am not a great welder, just because you've got such a recess in that groove there. So I weld those first. Then I turned these 4 spacers. I think they are actually 4130, which is overkill, but that's what I had laying around. And a simple 1/4-inch rod. And this is how I fixture these. I think I actually showed this briefly in the other episode. The nominal hole size for 5/16 by 18 hole is 257. So this actually is plenty good. Just a nice slip fit over. Okay. And tighten that down. This keeps them in a line, and it keeps them, most importantly, perpendicular to the face of the target. So those will set on there like so. I have a little stick I use to offset here on the left side. And yeah, the only thing I don't love about this, which I'll figure something out, I haven't played around with it a ton because it does work, but I could use a better way of clamping this whole piece down to the plate itself. Right now I use a can't twist clamp, which you'll see here in a second, which it works, but it's not the most elegant. Anyways, I digress. Let's hop over to the garage and start welding up some stuff here. Okay, I just tacked these in the 4 spots, plenty of weld, and if you dump too much heat into it, you'll cause more problems than you will do good. These holes are actually slightly under as is, and I'll ream them out to 376, and it's a nice slip fit for the 3/8 inch legs, and the leg actually won't then go all the way through because this hole is slightly under, and I only ream them halfway down. So I'm going to let this cool real quick. Sorry, I think the audio was off there a second ago for the welding, but let this cool and then we'll throw our brackets on. Okay, I've got my my 5 brackets on here clamped down. I clamped the face plate down to a piece of 1/4 inch plate, which will help the plate from warping. We are going to dump a decent amount of heat into it. And then I clamp the 5 on with the rod that we just showed with this center clamp. Look, I don't really like this, but I keep selling the damn things, and I haven't had a chance to stop and really think about how to redesign this because I feel like I'm playing catch up. So it is what it is. This is manufacturing at home. It's not an ISO 9001 factory with a team of engineers. With that being said, welcome any suggestions from the peanut gallery here, but works for now. So. Let's go ahead. We're just going to run a little bead down the inside on all 5 of these, so 10 little welds itself. I'm going to move the camera, I think maybe a better viewing angle, so be right back. Okay, all teed up. A little shot of spray for anti-splatter. And we're off to the races. Okay, I'll bring you around here. Let's take a look and see what everyone thinks, whether my welds are are bad or terrible. I think they might be okay, but let me move the camera around here. Okay, you'll get a closer look when we're over at the bench again. It's funny though, I've always been a self-conscious welder. My grandfather was a welder and he taught me, and it's made me a little bit, I've always felt like the bar was higher. I will tell you, this is not my best one right here, mostly because the damn camera is always on the way a little bit. So I will tell you I've done better than this, but this isn't bad. Okay, so those are on. I do let this cool for a few minutes in the fixture. I don't even know if that's necessary, but I do. And then we're actually pretty close to home stretch here. So I'll be right back in a minute. We'll be over on the bench and we will put the brackets on and start finishing this up. Okay, like I said, coming down home stretch. Next step is to go ahead and install these brackets, which we do with shoulder bolts. And for you loyal viewers out here, these may look familiar. I just did a video on this little fixture I made, how to shorten these guys down, because the only ones I can find factory spec have a 1/2 inch thread, and as you'll see when we install the spring in a minute here, I need these to be flush with the end of this bracket. And so we're going to install these, and then we're going to weld the actual targets on in place, if you will. So let's keep going here. Okay, one at a time. So actually, the outside two have longer shoulder bolts. You'll see they are for the reset mechanism. So I go ahead and put those in now so that when we weld them, they don't bounce around on us. Okay, we'll tighten them down when we're done. Now for the outside two, they've always got some play in them because those are the reset bar brackets with the longer shoulder bolts. The inside three though, it's a very snug fit. There's only a few thou play between the shoulder bolt head and the bracket, so it's important for quality control purposes at this point to ensure there's unobstructed free range of motion, which you can see just like that. You had a burr on either part or anything else in there, debris, you would have pinching or binding, which would be no good. So that's why I checked that now. Okay, so I've got to put my safety glasses on here. These are not low power springs. You got to be careful with these guys. And we're going to install them. Let's see if I can rotate it on camera here. Okay, I will see you here over in the welding room in 2 seconds. Okay, to weld our 5 discs on, sorry it's a little bit low light in here, I've got another fixture, and sure enough it uses 3 dowel pins. Oops, here you can see it. That's a little piece of aluminum with 1, 2, 3 dowel pins, which will set on our plate like so. It's quick and dirty, I call it. And I actually just use a little clamp like this. And then I've already got the springs on there, so that provides the natural force to hold the target bracket down. So slide my 5 in there like so. Zoom in a little. Let's see here. Spray ourselves some and let's weld. Okay, let that cool for a minute, and then what we do is we just flip the brackets over and we weld our other smaller targets on the other side of the bracket. This is what show you the target's been hit when you paint them a different color per the sort of biathlon tradition. So I will be back in a minute once this is cooled. Okay, these have cooled off. Let's flip them up. Again, our little clamp goes back on. Oops, let's see here. Yep, there we go. Okay. Now turn down the welder to weld thinner stuff, and some spray. Like so. I need to practice the thin stuff. I'm not happy with my consistency on that. They're not going to fall off, I'll tell you that. But you know, there's pride in the quality of your welds, and I'm not there with this part of it. Okay, but like I said, we're almost down home stretch, so I'm going to let this cool before I burn myself here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and weld up our reset bracket in reset bar rather in yet another fixture. So yeah, let me go do that. Let me go get it set up for that. So for the reset bar, this is the current incarnation of my welding fixture. It's got two 10x24 set screws, and what I do, I set it on my plate like so. I go ahead and slide the pieces in first. Then I clamp each end down. Take my 16-inch piece of 3/8 rod, slide it through, Then I go ahead and tighten these down. And this will keep it from moving on me. Most importantly, it'll keep the reset bars perpendicular to the length of the rod, which is very important for smooth operation. So yeah, it just takes a couple very quick tacks here. I gotta work on my lighting here in the welding room, guys. Sorry about that. And the important thing to remember is the brackets are on the inside, so I only tack it on the outside 2 spots. Need any spray for this? It's just a quick tack. Okay, I'll see you back in the shop here in a second. We'll put it all together. Okay, reset bar. Let's do a little final install here. I'll use the excuse that I'm trying to do this on camera, keep my arms out of the way, as to why I'm not getting this in right at first. There we go. Safety glasses on, springs. I always like putting the springs on with like this. Okay, so that's almost done. I'm going to go weld real quick the reset arm right here, and I'll see you back where we're going to put it through a very quick QD. You can see that's important. You got flexing in that reset arm. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I've welded on the reset bar, which the string attaches to the end here, and I put it in my Glasser and vise because it can hold just a little corner and support the whole length of it. This is what I call quality control. I pull up the reset bar, make sure it falls back down, it's nice and free moving, and then 5 quick shots, pull the bar, resets, pull the bar, just like so. And at this point I take a look over, make sure there's no little weld beads left. I got a few there that I'll just pull off with a pair of pliers. With the spray splatter, they just fall right off. And then it's ready to box up and ship out along with a set of legs and some reset string. Okay folks, that's a wrap for the Manufacturing at Home series on the Rimfire Steel Biathlon Target. If you have enjoyed this, please do me a favor, click the like button or comment below or share the video with friends and so forth. But I do hope you've enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun making it. I have a lot of fun making these little guys, and more good things to come, folks. I'm excited that you're excited about that auto saw. I've got a lot of research to do. We'll see how quickly I can figure out how to make that thing work. But as always, appreciate it, everyone. Take care. See you soon. I will catch you later, folks. Goodbye.